Hi, this is David Allen Greer podcasting for the Daily Crowdsource. Today I'm going to address an issue that seems somewhat obvious, but is actually central to the innovative aspect of crowdsourcing. And that is the question, what is crowdsourcing? Now, I know this seems to be entirely academic, one of those things where you're arguing over the definition of words. But words are important in the sense that they help shape how we think about things and how we work with them. Crowdsourcing is an innovative activity as compared to an inventive one. Innovation causes us to look at things in new ways, with new eyes, with new creativity. And the more that we understand the kind of process that's in front of us, the better we can be innovative and to be creative. Now, we know where the word comes from. Jeff Howe coined it in his article in Wired magazine. But if you back off and look at the sources that he used to define it, you discover that the word sourcing is from the medieval French soudre, and it comes from the idea of springs as sources of water springing forth. The word source moved from springs of water to the supplying of parts and work in the 1970s. The Oxford English Dictionary, which is my favorite application on the iPhone, and also a crowdsourced activity in its own right, identifies the first usage as occurring in a 1972 edition of the Wall Street Journal. Ford Motor Company, works on stripped-down cars that could be sourced and assembled anywhere in Asia. But if you probe that definition a little bit further, you see hints that the use of the word source as a verb, to source, may have southern roots and may be older, may come from earlier in the century. The Oxford English Dictionary also gives a quote from 41 from W.C. Handy in his book, The Father of the Blues. Affinities that may be sourced in a common, ultimate, oriental origin. This is, of course, a pretty hefty definition for a jazz musician, but nonetheless, it points to the original ideas for this word and the concept behind it and how we use it. Now, of course, we use crowdsourcing as the process of eliciting work from crowds. But if you think about it in terms of where sourcing is, to source parts, to source work, it becomes the activity not of the workers, but of those who design and manage the process. In some ways, it's a parallel to the verb to program. It shows that that is the point of innovation, the point where we need to think most creatively. And the most important person is the one who designs the process. Crowdsourcing ultimately is controlling 4 elements of work. 3 of them are mechanical: a control unit, a processor, and a memory. There are other podcasts in the series that talk about this, and there will be more to come that describe these 4 elements. The last of these 4 is the labor market that engages computing machinery and involves workers making judgment. Now, one of the important lessons we learn in chasing down the origin of this word is that while it has a parallel with programming, it's probably not a perfect parallel. Programming was indeed the point of innovation for computers. It was not early recognized as such. Though the ENIAC computer used the term programming, they borrowed it from electrical engineering and used it to refer to the timing signals in their original machine. In that era, people tended to use the word planning to describe how computing should be done. You put together plans for computation, you gave the plans to your workers, they worked on the plans and produced the final result. That word bubbled up in Conrad Zeuss's computer as he produced one of the very original programmable computers, in the word he used for his programming language, which was plan calcul. We're doing calculating plans. Well, we don't program people, but we do provide them with plans. And that again points to the innovative part for crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is using that balance of instructions and freedom of choice that we find in labor markets, and using them to get the best work, the best judgments, and ultimately the best results. It suggests again that one key point of innovation is the work of designing and managing crowdsourcing activities. Those are the ideas that we've seen developed in industry over the last several years, and those are the ideas that this podcast series continues to develop and consider and try to help you use better in your work. Well, we've reached the end of today's podcast. I'll be developing more of these ideas as the series continues. Till then, take care. This has been David Allen Greer for the Daily Crowdsource.